Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and today we are going to speak about the very interesting topic we have today. It's about the pilot's age. So which pilot is the best, young or old? We have so many stereotypes linked to this question. For example, many people think that the young pilots have less professional skills and it's better to trust their lives to more experienced and older pilots. In a way, the older you are, the more experience you get and the more professional and skilled pilot you should be. But it's not that easy question, so let me explain you why. Our life is very limited, so we can draw the segment of it starting from point B, birth, to point D, which is death obviously. So it's our life, the life of every human being. And I can split this section into the segments. So as you may see, I already split this section into several parts and I'll describe you what I mean about it. First, let me consider this age as a baby, not so important for our career. The age between 6 and 16 is very crucial for every person because other life would depend on what you get in your childhood and you are building your own mindset and personality. And it's very important to go to as many experiences as possible through the childhood. Otherwise, you would not understand what you need in your future life. For example, in age of 7 years old, accidentally by going to some kind of football section, you discovered that you like football and you can put all the efforts to become a professional football player because you just like it. And through this time you have abilities and opportunities for everything. The main thing, you need to understand what you really need. So my point for the very young viewers, if you are somewhere here in your childhood, try to understand your interests and what you want to do next in your life, because by this time, by the age of relatively 16 years old, you'll be grown up person. The next part is very important. Actually, we don't have not important parts here because it's section of your life and life is very important. The age between 16 and 22 years old is most active learning age that you'll have in your life, because by this time you should understand what you need next and put all your efforts for university, college, etc., the flight school, I don't know, everything. So it's most active learning part in your life. And later you will have your golden age. It's around 22 to 45 years old, so it's golden age. Why do I call it golden age? Because I think you need to have as much gold, as much money, as much your dreams to come true through this age. Because this age from 22 until 45 is most active zone of your life where you can work, you can build your family, you can grow your kids and you can do wherever you want. But the main thing, guys, in golden age is to earn the money, because without the money you cannot make your dreams to come true, you cannot feed your family, and you just cannot do anything in modern life. So guys, it's a perfect time for you to become a pilot here. I would suggest to become a pilot at least in this first part up to, let's say, 35. It's better. I became at 22 and I'm 32 right now and I'm already a captain on a Boeing 737. Some of the airlines have a hiring limitation for a first officer, so they hire first officers until 45. So if you think about becoming a pilot and you're somewhere in this area, think also about the entry regulations and entry limitations for every particular airline. I personally know some of the guys who started their commercial aviation career, then they were around this age, around 45. So they were bakers, programmers and managers. So the persons were not even connected to the aviation. But now, believe me guys, they are good pilots. They are first officers, but good first officers. Alright guys, we need to move faster because this video is going to be very long. So the next step is your second active zone. I will call it silver age. SA, Silver Age. Why do I call it second active zone and why do I call it Silver Age, and what is the difference between golden and silver? I call it silver because your abilities here in the second active zone can be limited. If you had bad habits, for example, here in your golden age, you'll have the health problem, of course, then you're getting old. And of course your abilities here are limited because you cannot entry to some airline if you want to become first officer. The age limitation is here, and usually for captain it's 55. So you cannot enter the other airline. You cannot sign the contract for 5 years or more if you are more than this age, 55 or more as usual. For some airlines the captain entry requirement is around 58. But in this case you'll sign the 2-year contract, renewable maybe. My suggestions, guys, for you if you're in a silver age between 45 and 60, well, my suggestions, if you are not a pilot, I'm great doubt that you can be hired in some kind of airline through this age. If you just want to start your commercial career, you can of course get the commercial pilot license and maybe airline transport pilot license, but through this age usually airlines won't hire the newcomers and the new first officer. If you're already a first officer, I think it's better to become a captain somewhere here in this area, and if you're getting up to 45 years old and you was working for many years before, I think it's better to change the airline to search for new opportunities, because if you won't become a captain, well, until 50, no one would consider you as a captain in the future. Mostly it's like this. And if you are a captain and you between 45 and 60, try to find a good airline for you where you would feel yourself comfortable and with a good income. So it could be your last chance to have enough money for your retirement. And our last part is between 60 and 65. It's pre-retirement age, where you can still fly. In my country it's 65, your age limit for commercial aviations, where you can carry passengers. But even after 65, you can still fly on private jets, for example, or carrying cargo on the freighters. If you are here, guys, you need to make it as comfortable as possible, because you need to do some medical checks very frequently, and you don't need a lot of stress. You need a lot of job to do, because it influences your health. Depends on, of course, where you fly and what you fly. If you fly long hauls 3 or 4 times per month, it's one story. If you fly regional jets or even turboprops with 8 sectors per day, it's completely different story. So try to make it more easy for you through this age, because you can limit yourself somewhere here because of your health. Here I mentioned 65 years old, but this number can be different. It depends on your local regulations in your local aviation authority. But if you want to fly after 65 years old and you feel yourself confident about it, you can fly private airplanes, private jets, and usually freighters. It also depends on your personal country regulations. Are you tired? No? Let's continue. Just want to make a conclusion about our section topic we just have. The life of the pilot is similar to life of the football player or any other sportsman. So you need to spend as much energy as you have in your career, and you need to join the good club, the good airline as fast as possible to have your life more stable and to have a good income for your family. Hey Dennis, you didn't tell us which pilot is better, old or young. I'll tell you right now. Of course, pilot skills, as every professional skills, depends on personality. So there could be very old first officer who get the average marks on the simulator checks, and there could be very young pilot, a very young captain, for example, getting the highest marks possible on the simulators. But usually, yes, newcomers, young first officers, sometimes young captains have less skills compared with their older mates. And now guys, I'll explain you why. Let me draw you a graph here. We have a magic board, that's why I call it magic board, because I can draw here everything I want. So the graph, and here we put confidence. And on the bottom here I'll put the knowledge and experience. Knowledge, experience, and confidence. For example, you are 22 as I did, then I joined commercial airlines. I was here. It's a newcomer, new pilot. So as a new pilot, you have lack of confidence and absolutely no experience and some of the knowledge, I would say, but the knowledge you have in your academy may differ with the reality. It is always depends on what particular job you want to do as a pilot, whether you want to be airline pilot, what airline you want to fly. So every entrance to the airline to unknown system is like this. You always enter as a new pilot with a lack of knowledge and self-confidence. But the time goes and you'll have your first 500 hours, let's say. It's your experience, and through that time you will have your knowledge. In the first 500 hours you will have the knowledge how to fly the airplane, how you'll land it, etc, etc. On the simulator checks you'll upgrade yourself. So with the knowledge comes the confidence. The confidence rises high. As a newcomer, you usually don't understand that there is an ocean of information in front of you, and that ocean you need to study and you need to understand. But you see it as a small lake because you have a tunnel vision if you are very young and you're a newcomer. So you already know how to fly, but you don't understand that you see only the top of the iceberg and you don't see other ways to fly. For example, to see more of the iceberg, you need to get yourself into some stressful situation like in normal life we have on the simulators. But you don't have many simulators in your life because you have just 500 hours. But you continue your flying with many instructors, many captains in different situations. You'll have your simulators and you'll have knowledges and experience, and at some time you understand that you don't know anything and your self-confidence drops. It can be dropped, let's say, even below your entry level. So your entry level is here and the self-confidence will drop even below, because you will now understand that there is an ocean of information that you need to understand. This drop usually happens in the first 1,000 hours of flying, of your flying career, and these hours are most dangerous for every pilot because you're in a lack of knowledge and experience, you don't have it, and you are very self-confident. So the proper way to manage this situation is to put experienced captain inside the cockpit with this unexperienced first officer. But time goes and our first officer starts to fly better. He now studying and understands more. The level of self-confidence will rise but will never reach the limit that was gained in around 500 hours. And good pilot is learning pilot. So if our first officer would not study, he will stop somewhere here. So he or she will not have good knowledge and will not have the good self-confidence level. If you have good knowledge, you're an experienced pilot, and you have self-confidence, you can become a captain. In some airlines, you can become a captain after 3 years. So 3 years of your flight career. So that step usually takes 3 years. But guys, it really depends on your personality. For some it's 3 years, for some 4, 5 and 6, doesn't matter. but usually it's not less than 3 years. And that situation happened to me, guys. I entered when I was 22 years old, and I became a captain when I was 25. So it took me 3 years to get to the captain position, to get enough confidence and knowledge. So my answer is your age doesn't really matter. You can carry passengers, be responsible for their lives even in 25 years old. I proved it. But as always, guys, there are some pros and cons of young age and old age. Let's discuss. I hope you are not tired. Young and old. How to divide these two categories? Whether it's 40 and it's after 40, I don't know. I can personally feel myself old here in 25, or I can feel myself young when I will be 60. I don't know. I don't understand. I was just writing you the pros and cons. Usually new pilots have good theoretical knowledge. Theory. Well, it's a plus actually for the new pilots. They are good in theory, but they have lack of practice. Lack of practice and experience. The big plus is they're medically fit. So medical. They will usually pass, as a rule, they will usually pass all the medical checks with no problem. The minus is usually they think they know everything, as a rule. It depends on a person, but mostly the confidence level is quite high for a newcomer. The older and more experienced pilots have many simulator checks, they have many flight hours, and they had experienced many situations throughout their career. But they also have pluses and minuses. The minus for all pilots, well, it may vary, depends on the person, is that they have lack of theory knowledge. Lack of theory. Even compared to newcomers, it doesn't matter that they don't know theory, they just have educational background long time ago and they just renewed some time. But the new pilot have just passed ATPL exam with 15,000 questions, and of course he or she knows better. In real life, a commercial pilot, of course, you don't need to know all those 15,000 questions that you need to pass for ATPL theory, but still you need to improve yourself. But all pilots have a biggest plus in their basket, it's practice. And practice is the criteria of a truth. The practice in aviation profession is very important, and the experience is very important, because you might read some theoretical books and aviation rules, but you don't know how to implement it without the practice. That is why the flight hours is a very important thing for every airline to hire new pilot. So the next is medical. My suggestion for you guys, if you're here, if you're young, don't smoke, don't drink, don't use, don't have bad habits, because otherwise you will have this big minus over here. And if you're getting old, your career can be destroyed by this big minus. Personally, my opinion, keeping yourself fit is the most important thing for a pilot. The next plus for all pilots goes to stability. All experienced pilots usually have family, have kids, and they are not willing to change their lifestyle. If you are young and, for example, you don't have family, you have nothing to lose, you can go to one airline, you can go to another, and usually airline, if they have a choice, they would hire older pilot because they have much more stability in their mindset. And also, as the time goes, our body as well as our brain is not getting younger, it's getting older. And neural links in our brain will have less data processing capability then we'll get older. So to avoid the brain deterioration when it's coming to old age, you need to train your brain as well as your body. I know so many pilots who came for the Boeing 737 from different aircraft types, from Soviet-made aircraft types, then they have a different logic of operation, and it's very hard for them to get to the new system because it's totally different. And if you're younger, of course, it's much easier to perceive the new information, to understand it. And the same is true for old trained brain. So if you're old and you train your brain, you always study, you always learn, and you fit, you can perceive the information as well as young. You're already leaving? Just one story left. Be patient. Okay, the story now. Then I was 28 years old, I was already the captain on the ATR 72-500, and I decided why not to earn a little bit more money, so I went for the interview in China. The interview was with a local airline which wanted to go to Cambodian market with the turboprop airplanes MA-60, and it's basically Antonov 24 clones with Pratt & Whitney engines and Collins electronics. And I sent them everything, my passport, my license, my logbook, basically everything. And finally I was invited for the interview. I came to China. They have a very big aviation city called Xi'an, and where they produce all the military and commercial aviation aircraft. So I came to the interview finally, and there were 5 pilots and they needed just 3. So chances to get there were very high. But I hadn't passed the interview because I was told that I was very young, without those beard, 28 years old. That's the real story, guys, and my age, my young age, really influenced my career. Thank you, my friends, for watching this video. I think it will be quite annoying because it's very long. I'm trying to work on entertaining you. It's quite on low level, so I'm trying to figure out what can I do to improve the entertainment part of my videos. Now, thank you very much for watching this video. Like it if you like, dislike if you dislike, subscribe to my channel for new videos, and hope you have a great time.